St. Louis, the gateway to the West. If you talk to the locals, they'll tell you it's the gateway to champions. See, they love their sports in St. Louis, and they certainly love their champions. Now, 4 teams all hope to call themselves champions. Denver, Boston University, Western Michigan, and Penn State. In a city of champions, who's next? This is the NCAA Frozen Four.
Welcome to USCHO Live at the Frozen Four. It's Thursday. It's the semifinals. 4 teams will play today. 2 will emerge to face off with each other on Saturday for the national championship. I'm Ed Trefzger along with Jim Connelly from USCHO.com, Robert Morris University head coach Derek Schooley, and St. Lawrence University head coach Brent Brekke. We're going to talk a little bit today, Jim, about today's games and how the 2 teams match up.
We are, and I think it's really interesting when we look at these 2 semifinals. You have 2 very familiar opponents in the first, and then 2 very unfamiliar opponents in the second semifinal. So I think that'll be interesting. Also get some perspective on what it's like to be a fan of a team. I'm looking at a couple of fans of teams from that might have had a good time last night. Mr. Schooley, how was it a nice evening?
We had fun.
It was a good evening.
A lot of Broncos in town, right?
Fan engagement.
Well, let's jump into the games, and let's start with the opening game. In schools, we've been talking a little bit for a couple of days now of what this builds up as. And as we mentioned yesterday, Western Michigan still is the highest remaining seed in this tournament. But Western Michigan wants to tell you they're an underdog.
Yeah, I mean, they're sitting there, hey, we're enjoying the experience. It's our first time. But to be the best, you got to beat the best, basically, a Ric Flair quote.
Yeah.
And I feel that they're playing themselves kind of a low-key underdog to try to get away from it. And then you got Denver on the other side, which isn't running away from it. Hey, we know what to do as far as preparation. We know what to do as far as how to take care of our bodies and that. So I think you're seeing one playing the underdog, who's the higher seed, and the other one playing the confident one who, hey, we've been there, we know what to do, as a lower seed.
How much does Matt Davis play into this one here, Brent? And obviously he is almost Mr. NCAA tournament right now. 6 wins and 6 starts, hasn't allowed more than a goal in any game. Is he kind of the story for this Denver team?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're goaltending it for any team, to have success and get where they want to get to and win a national championship. It's your most pivotal piece, but he is definitely the guy. And he's stepped up to the challenge every single time. He is big time in big games. You listen to the interview, he's calm. There's a presence to him in the interviews yesterday with the press conference. But he's a terrific goaltender. I think that's probably the difference of the game is in the net.
How much does the NCHC final matter today?
We talked about it this morning. You took the impression that it was so long ago and they played games that it shouldn't matter. I took a counterpoint of, hey, that's the first time they saw Western Michigan again. Will that creep into their minds? Will that goal to tie it 3-3 creep into Matt Davis's mind? Because at the end of the day, in the NCAA tournament, he has been unbeatable for the last 2 years. Will you see the Matt Davis of the NCAA tournament, or will you see Matt Davis of the NCHC tournament?
Brent, when you see a team like this from your own league in the playoffs that you see all the time, how much does that familiarity help you as a coach prepare your squad?
Oh, it's huge. It's not just for the, for the staff, but the players as well. There's a comfortableness that you have there, and you've gone through the pre-scouts and you're dissecting it a little bit more. And that familiarity becomes a pretty crucial point. Face-offs, for instance, huge part of the game. Face-off goals make a difference in a lot of games. And that one particular situation, you're keying in a little bit more with the face-offs and watching each of their center, what their tendencies are, how can you beat them? Because that one possession on a face-off can make a difference. So little things like that make a tremendous difference when you've got some familiarity and playing a number of times.
We've seen the gamut of from game 1 to game 2. Game 1, sometimes there's no penalties, and then game 2, there's a whole bunch of penalties. So I think, it's going to play a factor. I think Western's special teams is unbelievable. And obviously, Matt Davis, the better goalie on paper with a national championship ring, will have to be the best penalty killer for Denver.
Jim, the other half of the bracket has Boston University and a newcomer to the Frozen Four, Penn State.
I think that this one is really interesting. Obviously, the the name Penn State alone, just the brand and the fact that it hasn't been here before, the fact that this is all new for everybody involved, that's just fun for this event. So just start there. Throw in BU. They're in 3 straight Frozen Fours. This is 7 for 7 for Jade Pandolfo as a player and a coach, and reaching NCAA tournaments and then making the Frozen Four. I think that's pretty outstanding as well. I think that this is a lot about whose game is going to dictate. Is BU going to be able to win a run and gun game? Does Penn State have to find a way to slow BU down? Is that a factor? Derek, is that something that Guy Gadowski is thinking about? Is thinking about worrying about, the Coles of the world and guys that can do all that? Or is it just saying, hey, we go and we play a fast game, we'll do it ourselves?
Yeah, you're gonna talk about every player and how you want to play against the team. I would be surprised if one of their mottos going into this game was, hey, let's try to make a whole bunch of plays in the neutral zone and turn pucks over. So I would think that they're going to want to get pucks deep behind their D, use their speed, and then get pucks to the net. I mean, if they turn the puck over, my sarcasm, I don't know if it came through good there, but if they turn the puck over, watch out because BU's coming back the other way.
How much does the power play factor in here? I mean, BU, one of the best power plays out there. And when you have a guy like Cole Eiserman, sniping those pucks off, Brent, it becomes a little bit of a weapon that Penn State is going to have to be conscious about.
Yeah, your discipline. I mean, Derek just talked about, turning pucks over. That's a discipline within the game. But then you're talking about the physicality of controlling your sticks and moving your feet so you're not taking certain types of penalties. Your discipline's crucial. You can't put yourself in the box. So that's a team that is multi-threatful. It's not like there's just a couple of guys you got to key on. Their lineup throughout, and both power plays are pretty dynamic. So that's something that's going to be an important piece of the game. They got to really make sure that they're doing their job to stay out of the box. I don't think Penn State wants to play a special teams game against them. They want to play a 5-on-5. I think that's their best opportunity to beat them.
Well, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, it's fan experience we want to talk about. A couple of fans, they're coaches, but they're also Western Michigan fans having graduated from that program. We'll talk to them about what it's like being here as a fan when USCHO Live at the Frozen Four returns.
I'm Cole Caulfield, and I played college hockey.
I'm Adam Fox, and I played college hockey. I'm Pete Genthel, and I played college hockey.
I'm Johnny Gaudreau,
And I played college hockey. Whether you're a fan or a player, nothing compares to college hockey.
Well, we knew that Frozen Four was going to be here, and with the season that Broncos had all season long, obviously following them, the hope is that they would be here in the end, and pretty miraculously that they're here. And
Jamal Mayers is pretty excited to see this here in St. Louis. And there are a lot of fans, Jim, who are thrilled to be at the Frozen Four, not only those who are here to support their teams, but another bunch who come every year. And it is really a fan fest.
And I always think that that's what's interesting in schools. You've been a part of this a lot as a committee member, and Brent, you've seen this from many different angles as well. But when you approach them from a fan's perspective, this is an ultimate moment. If you follow a team, if you put your resources, your time in back of a team, this is the place you want to be. This is your ultimate celebration.
Yeah, the funny thing is Western and Penn State have never been here.
Yeah.
So the fans are coming out in droves. I mean, there were people, the Detroit to St. Louis Delta flight this morning was packed with Bronco fans. People are coming here because they haven't been there. Brent sent out a great text message to our alumni group leading up to this and said, there's no excuse not to be here because this is the first time we've wanted this. You've had the emotion of it. Come and be a part of it.
Well, what's it been like for you, Brent, just being on the ground, seeing a lot of former Western Michigan players?
Oh, it's been terrific. I mean, we reunited with a bunch of them last night, and they rolled in at different times in the afternoon and the evening. So some of the guys we hadn't seen since our last reunion we got together whenever we was able to do it. Some guys had been 20 years. I mean, it is coming out of the woodwork, and it's just like you saw them last week, even though it's been years. And so it's been fun. The uniqueness of the Frozen Four, like step out of the hotel today and you see every jersey, every sweatshirt, every hat from every program right across the country, and sitting there having breakfast in the hotel lobby, and there was a Hockey East fan sitting next to me with their jersey on, and somebody walked by and chirped them, oh, they'll be here at some point. So those types of things take place. But The energy level just around the downtown area, it doesn't matter. St. Louis is a great place, but they're all like that. Every Frozen Four where the fans are, they're from across the country. It's their time every single year to get together, whether their team's in or not. You have such a faithful following for so many different programs. But, for Western to get here, it's obviously special to see so many guys that we haven't seen in a long time and reunite has been fun.
Well, let's take one last break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up, and we will do so by giving our predictions. And why, Ed, do I feel like we're going to have a lot of Western Michigan Bronco predictions?
Beats me.
in this. When we come back, USCHO live from the Frozen.
I'm Cole Caulfield, and I played college hockey.
I'm Adam Fox, and I played college hockey.
I'm Pete Genthel, and I played college hockey.
I'm Johnny Gaudreau, and I played college hockey. Whether you're a fan or a player, nothing compares to college hockey.
We're back with USCHO live from the Frozen Four in St. Louis, high atop the Hilton Hotel at the ballpark right near Busch Stadium. Is it still Busch Stadium?
Yep.
It is still Busch
The
Stadium.
third one.
The third one, I knew. It wasn't Sportsman Stadium. It's
That
too
was
far
before.
back.
Yeah. You're dating yourself, Ed, if you were at that stadium.
Yeah, I was a wee little lad. But anyway, this is the time we always dread every year, I think, is when we have to make predictions. But I think we have a couple of people who better predicted one way or they're going to be in big trouble. Maybe we'll start with you guys because it'll be easier. Let's go with the first game, and then we'll come back for the late one. Brent, what's your take on Western Michigan and Denver?
Yeah, I obviously Western's my pick for sure. We talked to First this morning, just saw them outside the hotel, said they had a great skate this morning. They're feeling good about themselves. Yeah, we just talked about, what's the energy level? Like, what's the, are they extremely excited? Are they low key? He said, no, it's just been a real dialed in focus that they've had now for a number of weeks. And he said, it's just a real good approach that he doesn't feel uncomfortable or the guys are anxious or anything like that or nervous. They're ready to go. So Western, that's my pick.
Offense versus defense. Does the goaltender win it again? I say no. So I will go with the Western Michigan Broncos.
There
we go. There we go. Legit from 1993 right here.
Does it fit?
We're not trying that on. You'll see me later as a fan with it on.
Jimmy,
I think I might get this one on, but I better put it away. If I'm picking Western Michigan, that means I'm picking against Denver. And at this point, I think I've been hit over the head enough times in the last 2 years that to pick against Matt Davis, pick against the Denver Pioneers. So I'm going to go with Denver in this one.
I'm going to go with Western Michigan. I think Matt Davis will have a great game, but I'm looking at something that might be like a 3-1 game with that third goal as an empty netter. So I'm going to go with
Definitely low scoring, though. I like low scoring here.
Let's go to the late game. Boston University and Penn State. And Penn State new to the Frozen Four. They started out 0-9 in the Big Ten and went off to the races. If they had won half those games, they would have been higher than a number 4 seed. But you got to like the momentum there. But then there's BU, who's been terrific down the stretch, too. So I'll let Derek go first, then we'll go to Brent.
I'm predicting that there's a lot of offense. Penn State always has a lot of shots on goal. They're constantly known for getting pucks to the net. I say there's going to be a lot of offense, a lot of shots. But as a Pennsylvanian, we are Penn State.
Wow. Bold. No, it's I like the matchup. I really do. I think there is a contrast the way the two teams play. But the excitement level and to see Guy Godowski and his excitement after the last game to get here was unbelievable. And I think that's infectious. And watching the two teams practice yesterday, there's a high enthusiasm. And I'm going to go with Penn State as well.
I'm going to go against you guys again. I'll go Boston University. I don't know that I have a really good reason, except for the fact that I've seen a lot of BU and I really like them. I have seen a lot of Penn State down the stretch, so I've seen the best hockey. That's a great brand of hockey. Can this come down to one bounce of the puck? Absolutely. I see this a higher scoring game. I see maybe a 5-3 game out future here.
Does Hockey East paycheck affect that pick there?
It does not.
Ask Steve Metcalf in a little bit.
I'm going to end up going with Penn State on this one, and I think for intangibles, Brent mentioned the enthusiasm and excitement, and there is kind of a loose fun excitement about that team, but also a seriousness of purpose. And on top of that, it's almost, I hate to use the term, but almost like playing with house money.
Yeah.
Everybody else has more pressure on them than Penn State does. I agree with a high scoring game. Maybe we see 5-4, 4-3, something like
The
that.
fans will be entertained in the late game.
That's for sure. Well, that is going to wrap it up for this edition, the Thursday edition of USCHO Live from the Frozen Four. 5 p.m. Eastern, the early game, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, the late game, ESPN 2 on television, and Westwood 1 on national radio. Find out everything you need to know about the Frozen Four at our website, uscho.com. For Jim Connelly, for Derek Schooley, for Brent Brekke, I'm Ed Trefzger, and this has been USCHO Live, the Frozen Four from St. Louis.